What's up, warriors? I'm coming back with another interview. Today we have Peter Chan here and Marissa on the channel. Peter Chan has made $1.5 million with print on demand, so he's going to be sharing his secrets here on this interview with us today. So with that being said, let's go ahead and hear about your story and how you came into print on demand.
I started internet marketing probably like 4 or 5, maybe 6 or 7 years ago, somewhere around that time frame. And I got introduced to the industry really kind of on accident, by mistake. You know, I wasn't really doing well in school. I had a 1.67 GPA, and you know, if you guys know, in the Asian community, that's really bad. You know, so I was really looked down upon by, you know, friends, family, things like that. And I wanted to do something in my life that didn't involve schooling, right? So I went from network marketing companies to network marketing companies. I tried blogging, CPA, YouTube videos, everything you could think of on the internet. And when I started browsing around the internet, and I even started like doing offline businesses. Like I would hand flyers out at different shopping malls and stuff, and I'll get kicked out by the security guard, and all sorts of crazy things like that, right? And then what ended up happening was I came to a realization that if I wanted to do really well on the internet, I needed to master paid advertising, right? Specifically paid advertising with Facebook ads. Because if you can master like advertising and people's attention, then you can literally go in there and sell anything you wanted, right? It's not just limited to print on demand or e-commerce products. You can just drive traffic anywhere and do anything you want. So I bought my first Facebook advertising course, and what I came to realize was, in that Facebook advertising course, at that time, this was probably like in 2014, 2013, every single Facebook course I bought taught how to sell t-shirts on Teespring, right? And that's really how I got introduced to the e-commerce space.
Print on demand was something that I definitely was struggling with, so this interview is really key for me too as well. And so like one of my main questions, well, first of all, I want to know like how much you've made with print on demand just by itself.
So with print on demand alone, without dropshipping, I've probably done 1.5 to maybe $2 million in sales. And that's with every single platform I've used, from Teespring, Viral Style, Represent, Custom Cat, and throughout like 3 or 4 different Shopify stores that I have that actually do print on demand.
Okay, so I noticed that you said Viral Style and Custom Cat. Those are the two apps that you use on your Shopify store to do print on demand, or is there other apps that you use?
There's actually several different apps, right? So they all have different like positives and negatives. Some of my favorite ones are Gear Bubble, Custom Cat, Viral Style, Pillow Profits. There's a bunch of them, you know. Like for me, because I do so much print on demand, a lot of these companies, they reach out to me and they kind of like give me incentives to test out different products on their apps and things like that. And sometimes if you do really well, they'll actually, like one time I remember this company called T-Chip, right? It's another really big company that does print on demand. They flew us out to Hawaii and paid for the entire trip just to like show us their new platform and t-shirts and things like that. So with print on demand, I definitely can't go out there and say this is the one I use, this is my favorite, you know, because then now you're pulling and pushing from different companies that are kind of trying to beat each other.
Yeah.
But they all really have good products. Just to give you some examples, like if you want to sell like purses or shoes or like some things that are kind of really rare, right? Not the basic t-shirts, not the basic mugs, then you have to use a print on demand company called Pillow Profits. You know, they have shower curtains, they have towels, they have things that normal print on demand companies don't have, but there's a catch to that, right? They charge you like $30 a month just to use that print on demand platform. Whereas you have other print on demand companies that don't charge you at all, right? It's free. You can just download the app to your store. But with those companies, generally they have more basic products, and usually the margins on those are a little higher than normal because you're not paying them monthly, right? Whereas you have another company called Custom Cat. Their products are really cheap for us, the sellers, right? The reason why is because we pay them monthly. Therefore, they can actually keep the cost down a little lower. So it's really up to you guys.
All right, so actually, when I first met Peter, it was about maybe a little over a year ago now. It was early in 2017, And I actually got introduced to Peter because I was in an e-commerce mastermind when I was just getting started. And Peter was actually one of the teachers there. And what really captivated me about him was just how he explained print on demand. And one quote that I remember him saying was in the front of the classroom was, people only care about how the design or whatever it is on a t-shirt or whatever other product, they only care about how the product makes them feel and not really the quality, because oftentimes I've gotten the question like, well, what type of material is it? Like when people are interested in getting started. And so, you know, these t-shirts aren't like Nike Dry Fit and, you know, they're not top of the line, but that's what kind of intrigued me to print on demand at first when I was getting started with e-com. And so I guess my question to you was, or is, when you were considering doing like drop shipping versus print on demand, was that kind of a factor, you know, kind of because you thought maybe you could play into people's emotions more through a design, or how was it deciding between regular drop shipping and print on demand in the beginning?
Yeah, so there's actually two types of products you can sell on e-commerce right now, right? They're either products that solve a problem, okay, whether it be a phone case that solves a problem, right? Your phone, you don't want it to break, or they have those like gimmicky type of products that actually solve issues like makeup stuff, or like things that fix something, right? And then there's another type of product which is purely for emotion, you know? So people don't buy products that they like, they buy products that they want, right? They buy product, they're buying an emotion on how other people will perceive them when they have that product, okay? So for example, when someone has like a brand new Mercedes or a regular like Toyota or something, right? Then people, if you really compare both cars, they're almost the same. They can get you from point A to point B, they can do almost anything like for you, right? If anything, the Honda's better because it's more gas efficient and it can last much longer, right? But people are paying for that emotion of, you know, oh, I did it, I got this, I got what I wanted. It's the same thing when you talk about like a Louis Vuitton bag versus a regular bag that you can buy from a different store. They can carry the same amount of stuff. If anything, the other bag is probably more durable, right? Than the Louis bag. But the Louis bag has the L's and the V's, and that's different. There's that persona. You can say the same thing about diamond rings or like Rolexes and things like that, right? So when you're out there selling print-on-demand products and you're out there selling designs to people, just know that you're not selling a t-shirt, right? You're not selling cloth. You're not trying to solve the problem of someone needing clothes. You're out there trying to give them an emotion, a specific emotion, whether it be, oh, I love my pet, or, oh, I love my, the family niche. That's a huge niche because we all love our families. There's always grandmas and grandpas and parents that love their kids and vice versa, right? So that niche is always huge, especially during the holidays. Valentine's Day, there's like Father's Day, Mother's Day. Those are huge holidays that a lot of people, especially if you go on Amazon, you can look at the search ratings, right? Whether it be on Google or Amazon, keyword research. There's Mother's Day gifts, Father's Day gifts, Christmas gifts. Holidays work the best for print on demand, I feel.
It's a key takeaway.
So my question to you is that since you're doing print on demand, obviously you can't just have one design and go with it for the rest of the time. So like, what is your daily regimen as far as like how many designs you have in the chamber, and like how many new campaigns do you launch every day for your print on demand business?
So yeah, that's a really good question. Okay, so for a lot of you guys watching this, you guys might be beginners. There's like two different ways to market products and services, right? Kind of like how I mentioned in print on demand, how there's like two different products to sell, a solution product or an emotional product, right? This way, there's two types of like targeting strategies with Facebook, right? There's either a viral product that you just target, like I've seen people target, run ads, and right off the get-go, they don't even do any interest. They just go broad because it's a product that is for everyone can use, right? It's a product that solves a problem, whether it be like a lunchbox or something really simple, or you can do products that are niche specific, okay? So this ties into the question, right? How many products do we sell, or do we just launch one design and just leave it at that? The answer to that question is every time I do product research or design research for a print on demand, I try to find a really high converting like layout, right? Or high converting design. So for example, let's just say we go back to like 2014 when the keep calm and carry on was like the trend, right? Or even just more recent, like a year or 2 years ago, there's a saying, it was all over like Instagram, it's like Netflix and chill, You know, that was huge back then. It's probably still popular now, right? Well, I took that concept, instead of Netflix and chill, I scaled it out to different niches. So it'd be wrestling and chill, jiu-jitsu and chill, basketball and chill, you know, and I just scaled it out, and almost every single one of them at least got my money back. You know, there's going to be a lot of losers, there's going to be a lot of winners, and the winners usually beat out all the losers, right? Because the losers, you only lose how much you're testing with, which is $50, $100, $20, $30. The winners will actually bring you back a couple thousands of dollars, right? And some winners will actually bring you back much more than that. So overall, it's just a matter of finding something that converts and scaling it out through all the different niches. That way you have more options, you know, and it's not going to work for every niche, but it just gives you that more option.
Okay, so for people beginning, a lot of times you have to figure out whether you're going to do, you know, a niche specific store or a general store. And when you're doing, you know, the drop shipping method, it's kind of like easier to figure out, you know, whether you're going to do niche or general, because, you know, with the general you can have like gadgets, with kitchen, with home improvement, with all this kind of random stuff. And then like a niche specific kind of looks like, you know, baby, toddler, makeup, whatever it is. But with print on demand, this is kind of where sometimes people get stuck, is like, well, what does a niche specific store look like with print on demand, and how do you kind of keep it general as well, so that you can kind of expand on your designs and it looks, you know, still kind of congruent and okay with the look and the brand of your store. So like someone beginning, how would you give them advice on, you know, picking a niche for their print on demand design type, you know, for print on demand?
Yeah, so for print on demand, I would not advise on doing a niche store, specifically if you're just starting out. I would kind of do kind of like a general store, but with subcategories, right? So for example, let's just say we're going to launch a store, and we're going to name the store like job occupation store or whatever, right? And in each one of those, you can have per job occupation, right? Firefighters, police officers, teachers, things like that. That way you're not limited to just one store. If you go in there and you just build a store around firefighters only, it's going to be really hard as a newbie to try to tap into that market when there's other firefighter stores that are probably outranking you, outbeating you, outbidding you, right? With better fan pages and Instagrams and things like that. So my advice is to go out there, build like a semi-general store with subcategories in it. And then when you guys find a couple niches or one niche that you're doing really, really well on, and you want to kind of further monetization with that niche, then build out a niche store specifically only around that niche.
Okay.
That makes perfect sense.
So my question, another question I have is like, obviously you cannot do all this work yourself. It's a lot, it's a tremendous amount of work. So my question is, what does your team look like, and like, what are their job activities? You know, what are their job activities?
Yeah, so outsourcing, I would say you have to outsource if you want to get past like 5-figure months consistently. You know, under that, don't start outsourcing too much. Just outsource a little bit, 1 or 2 people. Because once you have too many people working for you, and you don't have the skills yet to like handle all of it, then it's going to get really, really messy, right? So my team right now, I have 6 people on the team, right? I have someone doing support, answering all the support emails. Someone doing uploading the products or the designs into the store, someone fulfilling the products, someone managing the social media accounts, and a designer, and then someone to create ads and set up like pixels and things like that in my store. So like 6 people on the team.
So you don't do, so basically you just manage?
I run ads, which is 50% of like actually that's like 90% of the work, managing ads.
Gotcha.
Okay, so what is your advice to those that maybe want to dive into like a sports niche? And, you know, obviously that's kind of messing with the boundaries of, you know, trademark and trying to be unique at the same time. So what is your advice? So let's say if, you know, you want to make a design off of the 49ers or something. How do you kind of separate like the trademark logos and brands and making sure you're not crossing that line so that you're, you know, violating something and you won't get shut down by Facebook? So how do you kind of go around that to create your own unique design around, you know, for something as big as like a, you know, national sports teams and stuff like that?
Yeah, that subject's a really touchy subject. Before you used to be able to do that and get away with it. Nowadays, Facebook's been getting really mad at that. So, you know, so I've had like back in the day, I've had like business managers get taken out for things that weren't even like they're just gray area stuff. You know, not even like completely black hat. Black hat means like, you know, it's completely illegal. White hat means it's like you're pretty clean, you're in the clear. So if you want to like really like dive into those markets, you either have to do the sport niches, but without putting the logo on there, without using the colors, just using slogans, using words, right? And even then, you still might get in trouble with it if they get really upset, you know? But overall, I would kind of stay away from that area for now, right? Just until you get a lot more skilled and better with it. There's a website called Trademark IA, I think trademarkia.com, and you can actually go in there and like double check whether the slogans that you're using or the images that you're using or any of the phrases that you're using is copyrighted or trademarked, you know? So it's definitely something I would probably not touch around if I was a complete beginner.
Gotcha.
So my question is, since like I'm doing product, like physical products, it's a lot easier for me to find products that have a huge like profit margin, like 30x. So one of the things I struggle with print on demand was getting the freaking thing to profit. Like every time I have like $15 acquisition, and like that's my profit margin with the print on demand shirt. So how do you structure your funnel if you build funnels in order for it to be profitable?
Yeah, so with funnels, with print on demand, I like to do things in order to, let's say you're having trouble with profit margins, right? And you're selling lower ticket items like t-shirts, necklaces, or mugs, which are lower ticket items. You can also sell higher ticket items that actually have more profit margins, like canvas posters, regular posters, because posters are really cheap. It's a piece of paper, you know, so it's like a couple of dollars for it. Or you can, like shoes will get you good profit margins, shower curtains, blankets. Those things will actually get you higher profit margins. But if you're going to do something with lower profit margins, like necklaces or the mugs and things like that, then what you need to do is you can do things in couples, right? So there's one for the husband, one for the wife, for like every niche, like trucker's wife, trucker's husband, and that will actually increase your margins because there's a higher probability that they'll buy that second product, whether it be on the upsell or the emails and things like that. Or you can even have like an option where you can just leave it on your store and they'll usually click add to cart. And then that usually helps increase your profit margins.
Kind of a follow-up with the question about funnels. Are you able to now, because I know e-commerce has just gotten more competitive now. You can't really do like churn and burn type stores anymore and get away with it. So do you create funnels for like your product pages and send your traffic to the funnel page, or do you send them straight to the product page on the website?
So you can actually still do product page to the website, but I've seen a lot of people, they use like apps like Zipify app, or they use like ClickFunnels, right? I would only do that though if you already know that product is converting really well and you have either a good relationship with the vendor or you have like in-house or something. Because what if you're going all in on that funnel and you're making it super nice? You can't do that for every single funnel. I mean, every single product on your store, right? And you can end up wasting a lot of time and a lot of energy on something that either doesn't convert or something that you cannot fulfill, right? Whereas if you do the other way, you're just driving traffic straight to the product page on your store, it will lower conversions, you know, because people will see all these other options, right? There's also like a company called GearBubble, right? You can use GearBubble Pro, where their product pages are actually proven to convert higher than Shopify stores, just because there's no other options other than the buy button. You can use that one as well. That one's really easy to drop ship from, and it's also really easy to do print on demand from.
Gotcha.
That's Donnie Wilson, right?
Yeah, Donnie Wilson.
Okay, so maybe getting into some of the more intermediate questions about Facebook. I know Facebook's gone through a whole bunch of changes in the past 12 months with the algorithm and them just kind of getting more strict in general with things that are ran on their platform. So my question is, when you start, I know you probably have seasoned pixels, but let's say if you were starting out with a brand new pixel, what would your campaign structure look like? So, you know, one campaign maybe with 4 ad set, what does your budget look like for your initial testing, that type of thing?
Okay, yeah, so this is a good question. So let's just start off with how the campaign looks like, right? So when you run your campaigns, I would do one campaign with either 2 or 4 ad sets, okay? If you're gonna do 4 ad sets, then you do $5 each. if you're gonna do 2 ad sets, then you do $10 each. So it's $20 a day, right? That's a good amount for beginners, so you don't get too discouraged when sales don't come in, and it's a good amount to where you can actually get traction, you know, because if you just do one $5 ad and just let it sit, it's really hard for beginners to get that momentum, and a lot of times they're gonna get discouraged and they're just gonna stop working, right? Whereas if you have 4 ad sets with $5 each, then it generally gives you more traction, you know? Yeah. And I would let those ads, every time you run ads, right? I always run my ads for the next day at midnight, you know? So if I'm running ads today, right now, it's Monday, I would always set them up for Tuesday at midnight, local time, right? Whatever your ads account local time is. That way it gets the full 24 hours to really get data. And then after that, right, never look at ads on day 1, because this is going to make you really discouraged, okay? You're just going to go in there, you're just going to start complaining. It happens all the time. I work with different clients and stuff, and they always tell me, like, you know, things tank, Facebook tank, and then the next day they're like, oh wow, it's doing well again. It's always like that. Every time you set up new ad sets, not just for the initial campaign, right? Anytime you have new ad sets, it always takes at least a day. I don't know why Facebook always works like that, but that's just how it is, you know? And then in terms of like the optimization, a lot of people always ask, you know, view content, PPE, add to cart. I still, even though I have new pixels, I've worked with a lot of people that have brand new accounts still, and just going straight for the purchase, I feel still works better, you know? Yeah. Even with no data. Like, I've tested it with view content, initiate checkout, and add to carts. For some reason, just straight purchase with website conversion, even on a clean ads account, still just runs better. It runs smoother. In terms of the targeting interest, right? I like to do, if your product can, or if your product cannot, depending on your vendors or suppliers or your print on demand company, I like to start with worldwide traffic, 1 ad set, right? And another ad set, you can do top tier traffic, right? Top tier countries, right? So it'd be like
campaign.
Same campaign, different ad sets. You know how we're running 4 ad sets?
Right.
Yeah, so each one, I would do like the same interest, right? That way you're not mixing up the interest, and then you can scale out with different interests. But same interest, one of them, like worldwide traffic, exclude all the bad countries that usually are highly prone to fraud. One of them, you can either do top tier traffic, or you can do like big 5, you know, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, US, and UK. Or you can do just straight US, right? USA. But I would run all the same interests for each one of those. If you want, you can, because we're doing 4 ad sets, right? You can do 2 of each. You can do a worldwide with interest 1, worldwide with interest, USA with interest 1, and a worldwide with interest 2, and a USA with interest 2. So now you're testing 2 different interests, but you want to keep one with worldwide with excluding all the bad countries, because that's going to make your clicks really, really cheap, and it's going to make your engagements really high, which is going to boost your ad on Facebook's algorithm. Versus just running PPE ads, you know? I feel like that just slows you down, because now you're wasting money to pay for engagement, which is good in theory, right? But for beginners that are just starting out, that's really just slowing you down, because you have to rerun a whole new ad, you have to learn how to do it, and you're just paying for engagements. Whereas if you just run worldwide traffic, that's pretty much paying for engagement, because it's going to be cheap. You're going to get really cheap clicks.
There's like some theories out there, because like people say like, oh, we need engagement, make it look good and all
that.
Yeah, before we start running that. Yeah, social proof.
Yeah.
But like from my testing too as well, like even with, you know, dark posts.
Yeah.
Running, you know, straight to purchase or whatnot. Even if you don't have that many likes or comments, you're still going to get sales.
Yeah. Yeah. Same here.
My question also is, are you using 1 interest on those ad sets, or are you narrowing it down, or, you know, are you coupling several interests in one, or just 1 interest, that's it?
So back in the day, you know, we used to teach always do intersect, right? Because intersecting funnels it in, so that, especially for beginners that don't have seasoned pixels, don't have seasoned ads account. But nowadays I found that it actually works better if you go with a really broad interest. Just 1 or 2 broad interests, or if you want, you can clutter a bunch of small ones, but you want one big, just a massive audience size. So you give Facebook like, you want to rely more on the pixel and the data that Facebook now has, versus relying on the interest groups that you're trying to build for Facebook. You know, so the bigger the better. Even when you do lookalike audiences for scaling, right? For those of you guys that are intermediate to advanced marketers, I like to just go up to like 10%, 9%, 8% versus doing the 1 to 2% on lookalikes, just because we want more. We want Facebook to have more options to show people. Because what if that 1% or 2% is being cluttered with, like, you know, Fortune 500 companies dropping all their money on it? Whereas if you open it up, then you really give Facebook more of an option to find you like buyers.
Yeah. So especially, I guess kind of two-part question with, you know, the past 12 months, the Facebook getting stricter on certain things with their traffic and stuff. How was your Q4 compared to past Q4s, like in Q4 2017? Like, you know, how has your traffic overall maybe in the past, you know, 6 to 9 months been more expensive than usual, or has it been kind of the same, or what trends have you noticed with the expensive traffic lately?
Yeah, traffic has definitely been more expensive on Facebook these days. The cost is definitely going up, but that's really normal. As you start to see advertising platforms get more and more popular, it definitely is just going to go up, and it's going to get more expensive because large Fortune 500 companies are now realizing that, hey, banner ads, like poster board ads on the streets, or like television ads, commercial ads, radio ads are just not working as well as they used to, right? So companies like Coca-Cola, Ford, McDonald's, they're going to start dumping all their money onto Facebook ads. They're always a little bit slower than we are because they're bigger, right? The Titanic takes forever to like turn, whereas a little rowboat can just go backwards, right? So for them, they're coming in, like, I would say 5 or 6 years a little too late, but that's normal for them, right? For us, because we need to play to our strength, and our strength is our ability to pivot. We can't compete with them in terms of advertising budget, right? And they can easily send in a couple reps to Mark Zuckerberg and make a couple phone calls, and now they're getting better algorithms, they're getting better ads accounts, right? They can drop millions of dollars a day on ads. Whereas us, when you're first starting, you get what, $800 as your first, you know, beginner budget. It's just really tough for lower level marketers like us to try to compete with these big Fortune 500 companies. But what we can do is we can pivot much quicker and faster. Okay, so nowadays, because of how expensive Facebook ads are getting, I would stick to video ads, right? Just because video ads move much quicker and much faster, especially on Facebook's algorithm, as you can see that, you know, Facebook and Instagram are the same company, and you know, they created IGTV recently, trying to compete with YouTube on the video scene, right? They're saying, statistically speaking, we as humanity are watching less and less TV and watching more and more of YouTube, right? We're watching more and more of Facebook stuff or Instagram videos, right? So video ads, Facebook does tend to favor it. I feel like the ad copy is starting to get a little more important. Remarketing is starting to get a little more important. Remarket to people that have seen 95% of the video or 70% of the videos. And also just pivoting to different traffic channels slowly, right? Things like IG story, things like Instagram ads. You can do like Snapchat ads. Google Shopping opened up like their own platform to where now the picture shows, right? The t-shirt shows. So if you go in there and you type in like Donald Trump t-shirts, it won't just say in writing Donald Trump shirts. It'll actually show pictures, right?
Okay, so I get this question a lot when people, we talked about video ads being what Facebook likes most. And people often ask, how do they get started with making a simple video? Because I know it's kind of sometimes maybe harder to model a print-on-demand product with video, because I know when I was starting out with custom hoodies, I just did a slideshow type video with wording across the video saying like, oh, 50% off today, grab yours, blah, blah, blah. So what do you suggest for people wanting to use video to model their print-on-demand products?
Yeah, so video ads, right now, there's like two types of different products that you can use video ads for, right? There's products out there that you have to have a video ad for, right? There's just products that you can't really see or tell what the product does or what the product is if it's just a picture, right? You need an actual video showing and explaining and really sampling how, kind of like demonstrating the product, right? But when it comes to apparel or like necklaces or jeans or like women's leggings and things like that, some of those products you don't really need a video for, right? You don't need someone showing you how that product works. If anything, you just need to showcase different angles or different like images or different variations of that particular product. For example, a red shirt, a black shirt, a blue shirt, things like that, right? Or sometimes necklaces, there could be a gold or a silver or different coloring, right? So what you can do in that situation is you can use an app called Ad Factory, right? We were just talking about it. Ad Factory, where you can actually put like a t-shirt on a different person, right? Where it changes images, or you can go ahead and just find mock-ups, right? Ask your designer if they can find like different girls that are wearing like a necklace that you can showcase the necklace in, or different people wearing like a t-shirt, right? Different colors and things like that. And the slideshow can actually show different people. The best way though, when you're just selling apparel, right? The best type of ads for apparel is like a small little collage or small images or slideshow of your previous customers wearing your product and smiling and being happy with that particular product, because that's social proof, as well as people visually seeing like people of their own kind loving their product, right? For example, if it's like a police t-shirt or firefighter t-shirt, if they see 4 or 5 different firefighter wives, right, or 4 or 5 different firefighters wearing that same shirt that they want, it's definitely going to increase conversions and rapport and just building that relationship with your audience.
So what are you doing on the ad level to do your split testing with the with the video ads? Like, are you changing up the copy on it? Are you what different things are you doing to split test?
So with the ad level, right, not the ad set level where it just shows different pictures and different images, I generally don't split test those. What I will do though is when the ad or the ad set will start to die out, right, the ads will start to die out, I will sometimes create another post with the same exact image or the same exact video and see if that can get the algorithm moving again. Or I would create a new video or a new post, right, with different images and things like that. But I don't really split test different pictures and images as much. Like I know a lot of marketers like emphasize on that, but that's not something I personally do myself.
Okay, I guess to wrap up this interview, and one last question, for those getting started, they may be overwhelmed with, maybe having budget constraints and not knowing where to start, kind of all the struggles of people starting out with e-commerce and entrepreneurship for that matter, because none of us start out with tens of thousands of dollars worth of testing money. So what would be your last words of advice for those people getting started? And it's e-commerce there's a lot of moving parts and it could be overwhelming when you're learning all these things in the beginning. So what would be, your words of advice?
So for those of you guys that are kind of afraid to make that step, right, that, because like even for you guys, just leaving everything behind and pursuing this laptop lifestyle, right, it's a very tough decision, right? And especially for those of you guys that are young watching this on YouTube, a lot of people in your family, your friends, the social norms might be looking at you from the outside saying, oh, you're still doing that internet thing, right? You're still selling t-shirts, right? It's a very normal question. I'm sure I get asked it a lot, right? Especially when I first started. I'm sure you guys have been through that, right? It's just a weird, especially when people ask you like, oh, so what do you do, right? And then you have to explain to them, oh, I do internet marketing, I'm an e-commerce guy, and you have to explain to them what that is. It's still really new. So it's almost like, for those of you guys that are watching this and you guys want to get started, it's almost like you're taking the road less traveled by, right? It's not normal to want to quit school or want to leave your job and go all in. But what I will tell you guys, okay, just keep in mind that it's just as important to have a defensive strategy as it is to have an offensive strategy when it comes to building a business online. Okay, and let me elaborate on that. Okay, in the beginning, you don't have that much capital, but you have a lot of time. Okay, so if you want with your time, right, you need to hustle and grind more so to generate capital, and then you can start building a business, right? Before you start building a business, before you start like branding things out and doing crazy things, you want to learn the skills first. And then the best way to learn the skills is, just like what you guys are doing right now, watching YouTube, right? Studying, learning, taking notes. Use as much resources in terms of the free resources that you can, right? YouTube, Instagram, whatever, Instagram story or Instagram TV, right? Absorb as much information as you can, okay? And then on the side notes, right? On Friday nights, on Saturday nights, don't go out there and spend too much of your money. Keep that money, save it and invest that into education, right? Invest that into books, invest that into going to conferences, okay? The defensive side is not looked at as much, right? In the beginning, it's going to be hard, right? You're not going to be able to go out to like, the sporting events that you want to go out to, bars and all the fun things with your friends that you might want to do, right? And you have to ask yourself, right? How badly do you really want this, right? Are you willing to give up those things just for a short period of time, right? You're only going to give it up until you get the education you need, until you apply the education, and then you can do it for an unlimited amount of time, right? So that's my advice to those of you guys watching, that you guys are probably in the right place. If you're watching this video and you guys got this far into the video, right? I don't know how long we've been going. I'm guessing you guys are really serious about this, right? And you're not just here to, you're not on YouTube to watch cat videos or sport highlights. You're here to really learn, right? So you guys are in the right place. But what I will tell you guys is, instead of, like Chris Record, he always says, instead of saying, oh, I can't afford this or I can't do this, ask how can I, right? So the defensive strategy has to be there too, okay? If you have extra time on your hands, why not work for someone else, right? An entrepreneur, and learn from them, right? If they need help managing their Instagram, right? If they need help managing their, creating designs for them, learn that skill. How to do Photoshop, create designs for this person, right? Go out and Uber, right? If that's what you have to do, go out and Uber for some quick cash, right? And to save that money, stack it up, don't spend it, don't go out and buy things that you don't need. Just save it and reinvest into education, reinvest into ads, and things like that. Just play the game, the hustle game, and you're trying to build, you're trying to save up as much money as you can until you can actually go in there and start like a real business and formulate like a structure, and really set up your life.
Love that. Love it.
So this concludes the interview with Peter Chan here. You can see in the description of this YouTube video on my channel and Marissa's channel connections to Peter Chan here. I guess like your Facebook, and I think you have a YouTube now, right?
Yeah, it's all gonna be in the description. You guys can follow me on Instagram, Peter Chan Jr. at Peter Chan Jr. Facebook, you guys can add me on Facebook. I always reply to messages and things like that. And I have a YouTube channel too, but it doesn't have a username yet because I need like 100 subscribers to make a username. So you guys can just click on the link below the description.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks again so much for your time. We appreciate this collab and the massive value you've given to our audience. And yeah, guys, hope you guys enjoyed it. And we will see you on the next video.
Thank you guys. Thank you for having me.